Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, I want to chat about how to change your shopping habits for good. And let's be honest, creating good buying habits can be challenging. Many of us have struggled or are struggling with a bad relationship with impulse spending or overbuying. And transforming that relationship takes time. You can't magically snap your fingers and automatically change everything. Instead, we have to fix that relationship by slowly shifting our buying habits and changing our mindset. So today, I want to share with you some of the mindset shifts and habits that have helped me to really change my relationship with money to the point where I'm now able to spend with intentionality and purpose. So I have 7 really powerful tips to share with you, and I'm excited to dive right into this. But before we do, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button below, and a big thank you to Shoptagger for sponsoring today's video. We'll talk about them in a bit, but now let's jump right in. Let's get started with one of the biggest shopping habits that we really need to transform if we're going to have a better relationship with shopping, and that's time. When we make spur-of-the-moment decisions and buy things based on impulse, it doesn't give us the opportunity to reflect and to really think about whether or not buying that item is really going to be worthwhile for you. So if you really want to buy better and to save money in the process, it is so important that you take time to really think through the purchases that you're making. And a couple of big ways that I like to do this are, number 1, setting aside a period of time, anywhere from 24 hours to 30 days, to really think through when to sit on purchases, to mull them over, if you will. And then also 2 is to use wish lists. I'll write out any of the items that I'm potentially interested in purchasing and then just wait and to spend time reflecting on, okay, do I actually want this? Will this actually add value? Do I love it? Do I use it? And questions like that. After a period of time, I'll cross out any items on that wish list that I decide that I don't want to buy, and then give myself the freedom to purchase any that I decide that I do. And these both are really simple ideas, but they're powerful because they give us time for thought and reflection. 2 things that when we make impulse purchases, we just don't create space for. Time has this effect of really creating margin. It gives us space to make more thoughtful decisions. But one tool that I found really helpful in being able to curate wish lists and save money on things that I already know that I'm going to buy is Shoptagger. And Shoptagger is a free app and Chrome extension that helps you to really curate wish lists and save items that you're thinking about purchasing. But it's more than that too. It also helps you to save money on things that you know you want to buy by helping you take advantage of any relevant price drops or coupon codes. And I've been using Shoptagger for a while now, and so recently when I very sadly got a hole and paint stains on my favorite pair of Girlfriend Collective leggings, I was actually able to use Shoptagger to save $20 on the replacement pair because of a coupon code they found. So really quickly, I want to show you what this looks like in practice. On your computer, you can just go to shoptagger.com, and don't worry, I'll have everything linked below for you. But you just go to Shoptagger and download the Chrome browser button. And then once you've created an account, you can visit your favorite stores and easily save any items you might be looking at. And one feature that I love is that as you're saving an item, you can actually choose if you want to be notified if an item comes back into stock or goes on sale or the price changes at all. And I found that super helpful for brands like Girlfriend Collective, who produce everything in smaller batches, and so often they'll be out of stock in my size, and so it's great to be able to be notified when an item that I'm planning on purchasing comes back into stock. And the cool thing too, and one of the reasons why I really love Shoptagger for its ability to curate wish lists, is that once you've saved items or as you're saving them, you can actually organize them into specific lists, eliminating any items that maybe on reflection you decide that you don't need. And that can help you to save money too, because you're not just going out and buying anything that catches your fancy. Instead, you're able to compare options and really make the best decision for you. But then, like I mentioned before, for items that you do decide that you want to purchase, Shoptagger can use its clever tech to scan the internet for any coupon codes or discounts that might be relevant to you. And then if they find any, they'll automatically apply them at checkout, which is actually how I saved the $20 on the Girlfriend leggings I bought. And this is a special feature that I believe is exclusive to the Creme extension, but it really is so cool and just really tangibly can help you to save money. And then one last thing, Shoptagger did also recently launch a cashback feature. So now you can actually earn cashback via PayPal from select retail partners. And I was actually able to do this recently with David's Tea. You guys know they are my go-to tea store, and that's where I get most of my tea from. But I was able to get 2% cash back when I placed my most recent order. So that's another great feature that's just like one additional way that it can help you to save. But that's how Shoptagger works in a nutshell, and I've really found it to be a tremendously useful tool in helping me to curate wish lists, to evaluate and to make better purchasing decisions, and then really to save money along the way too. So if you want to shop smarter and to save money on purchases that you're already making, I definitely recommend checking out the link in the description box below to download Shoptagger on both your phone and computer. So Shoptagger is a great tool, and I know you guys are going to love them. But let's continue on now with our second tip, and that's to consider your headspace. I think if we're honest with ourselves, we can quickly realize that when we're not in a positive, healthy frame of mind, when we're sad, angry, hungry, tired, when we're not in a positive mindset, we don't always make the best decisions. We're more prone to lash out, we're more prone to be impatient, or to really just act without thinking. And that has a really important application when it comes to our buying habits. If we try going out and shopping when we aren't in a positive headspace, that's going to impact our purchases and make us more inclined to making bad buying decisions. And so because of that, one really important habit to begin to implement is to only buy things when you're in a positive headspace. And this can really help you to avoid using buying as a coping mechanism where you're overbuying simply to kind of get that instant dopamine rush from making a purchase that will make you feel better in the moment, but then leaves you with items that you're later going to regret having purchased and money that you would rather have not spent. And this can be really difficult, especially if you've been prone to practicing retail therapy in the past. But it can make a huge difference in helping you to make more intentional purchases and then to save money in the process. Okay, number 3 is to unsubscribe from newsletters and to unfollow brands that don't align with your goals and values. Unsubscribe from the brands that don't uplift and inspire you. And even for the brands that you do really like, maybe try receiving emails from them less frequently. Many brands will now give you the option of how often you want to hear from them. So if you find their content inspiring, you can still do that, just in smaller doses. And you can do this exact same thing with social media as well. If you follow a variety of brands on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or whatever your social media platform of choice is, really go through a curation process and unsubscribe from any brands that don't align with your goals and values. And maybe even consider too, there may be some brands that you have alignment with, you like what they're doing and have purchased items from them perhaps in the past that do add value to you, but that you often tend to make impulse purchases from them. Maybe you should unsubscribe them too, so that now you actually have to seek them out instead of having their products kind of visually displayed for you all the time. This one is really personal though, and for some people it might be better to take a more extreme approach and just mass unsubscribe and unfollow from brands, and for others it might be better to take a more measured approach. But the key here is really to curate and to reduce your opportunity to make impulse purchases. Tip number 4 is a big one, and that's to budget, especially for non-essential purchases. And this one can be really helpful if you're a recovering over shopper, because most of us don't actually even understand how much we're spending on non-essential purchases. We'll buy one item here, another item there, and those small purchases really do add up over time. So by setting a budget and sticking to it, it really helps you to become more aware of how much you're spending, and it helps you to set limits and boundaries that you can stay within. And of course, if you want, you really can budget for your whole life, and there's a lot of value in that. But for the sake of this, I find it really helpful to set budgets for specific problem areas. So for example, if you tend to spend a lot of money and to make a lot of impulse purchases when it comes to things like clothing or home decor, it can be a really helpful idea to set a specific budget for that area. So you can set a budget and say, okay, I'm going to allow myself X amount of dollars to spend on clothing for the upcoming season. And this can be a great way to practice really making more intentional and thoughtful buying decisions. When you have a set budget, you can't buy everything. And so you're forced to really choose between alternatives and to figure out, okay, what's actually going to add value. So that's a big one for sure. And I love number 5 as well. And that's to separate your wants versus your needs. It can be really easy when we're in the heat of a moment and thinking about buying an item to say, oh, I need to have this. But more often than not, what we're really saying is, oh, I'd really like to have it, and we don't actually need that item. If you're wanting to retrain your mindset around buying, it can be really helpful just to take a moment to identify, okay, is this a want or is this a need? And don't get me wrong on this one. You can still buy wants. It's just important that we spend more time considering them before we make the purchase. And this really ties back to what we were talking about earlier with taking time to think through purchases. A book that you've heard great things about might be something that you really want in the moment and you think would add a lot of value to your life. But then perhaps you get home and realize you have 20 other books that you've also heard great things about and still have yet to read. So by really identifying what is a want versus what is a need, and then for those wants, being intentional to spend time thinking about the purchase before making it, you really can save yourself from so many buying regrets. And then number 6 is to replace shopping with other activities. Really think through when and where do you shop. Do you go shopping when you need something, or is it simply something that you do when you're bored? If your answer was the second of those options, then this tip is for you. It's all too easy nowadays with online shopping and tons of apps to make shopping just something that we do to entertain ourselves. And if shopping is something that you do just to pass the time, it's important to first recognize that and then to begin shifting your habits and replacing that time with more mindful and purposeful activities. Maybe the next time you feel the urge to shop for the sake of shopping, you want to instead try calling a friend, going for a walk, or reading a book. There are so many amazing and really purposeful ways that we have available to us of passing time. And so if your go-to in the past has been shopping, try replacing that with a more mindful activity. And then finally, tip number 7 is to dig deeper. Again, focusing on those wants, those non-essential purchases, really try to figure out your motivations behind why you want to buy something. And it's really just as easy as asking yourself, why do I want this? Are you trying to prove something? Are you trying to fit in with a specific crowd? Is this actually going to make you happy? It can be really easy to buy things without taking time to probe deeper. But when we really kind of peel back the layers of why we want to buy something and ask ourselves the tough questions, it really can help us to discern whether or not an item is going to really add value to our lives, or if it's going to be something that we simply waste time, money, and space on. All right, well, those are 7 habits that I've personally used to really change my relationship with shopping. And this really is something that takes time. Changing your mindset isn't easy, but it's worth it in the end if it results in us being able to make intentional purchases that are really going to benefit us in the long run. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video though, and that maybe you can take away a useful nugget or two that you can apply to your own life. Before I go though, don't forget that if you want to check out Shoptagger, you can download it using the link in the description box below. And a huge thank you to Shoptagger for helping make this channel possible. And of course, as always, if you enjoyed today's video and haven't already, I would love it if you'd hit that subscribe button below for more simple and intentional living videos coming at you twice a week. And you can always follow me on Instagram too. I'm at ashlynne.eaton on there for more daily inspiration and updates. That's everything for today's video though. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.